9 things that you need to stop believing for union in just an order that is not important, but they're all in their own way of importance. 1, that you need to just release them. Yeah, you need to stop believing that, although it certainly has something to say. But this is often said as a twin flame advice in a context that is completely wrong. That in the first place. And also, you need to just release them. Sure, I release my twin flame every moment again. And every moment he is again revealed by God and by himself to me as my twin flame. Sure, I understand. And for sure, releasing them can psychologically, because that was a spiritual something that I just said, but psychologically, I can see that that's something to offer for you, especially when you have the tendency to cling on to people and be really controlling to lovers. And yeah, that's like not attractive, right? Because it comes forth out of an unhealed mind, and yeah, that's not never a good idea. But to have just released them as the one and only twin flame suggestion, don't believe that at all. It's nonsense, because it doesn't say anything about who is your true twin flame. It doesn't give you any tools to work through upsets while you are with them in relationship. That's, I think, what you eventually would want. So why would you sort of try to train yourself into detachment? Why not train yourself into doing the twin flame inner work while they are around, so that you can train yourself into, well, releasing them every moment and doing the twin flame inner work, the true thing, every moment, so that they are free yet around all the time. That's what the twin flame inner work does. It also reveals who is the true twin flame. What's simply saying, well, you can go, that doesn't say anything about if it's the twin flame. You can say, just please go to anyone. What does that prove? How much deeper are you going spiritually from that? Yeah, nothing. So stop believing that. Just like number 2. And that is that you just need to balance yourself. Yeah, that's another like tip that is frequently dished out by so-called twin flame teachers on YouTube and whatnot. Just balance yourself out and he will come back to you, or she, of course, but most people that are interested in watching videos about relationships in general are female, and I know that most of my viewers are also. But don't worry about however you identify is fine. Just balance yourself and they will come back to you. Well, here's the problem. You don't know how to balance yourself. That's the whole problem. Otherwise, you would have done that already ages ago. The ego can't balance their own ego. That is the same not functioning element in you. That is not valid for twin flame union because it can't enter it, let alone sustain it. The ego doesn't know how to heal the own ego, because when you're the twin flame kind of healed that you're looking for, the ego is gone. So you don't know how to balance yourself, so stop talking about that as the one and only thing that you need to do. Instead, do the actual twin flame inner work, so that, let's say, a higher instance in yourself, a higher power inside yourself, God inside yourself starts to gently show you the next movement and the next movement. And then you just feel so peaceful in your heart by it. And you feel so balanced. Ah, you must be kidding me. But that's something very different than the you, the ego, that is trying to manipulate themselves with the motivation of let's balance myself. But that's the whole point. You can't. You don't know how that works. God knows how it works. And by letting that in, by letting that healing in, sure, you will become balanced out over time. But also, here's the thing. It is maybe even more correct to say, allow yourself to be unbalanced so that the deeper guidance can come in that brings you to the next level at which you also feel imbalanced to that side. And then you let the guidance come in and you are going to heal on even a bigger level. And then you're unbalanced to that side. And then, so that is like the unbalance in a sense is part of you healing and growing. If you want to completely erase that, well, it's not possible and growth stops. Healing stops. The kind of healing that is relevant for twin flames. So stop believing that tip. 3. Stop believing that it's psychology, mental health, emotional healing. We all know that these things exist. And they're pretty important in life. But here's the thing. Twin flame union comes from spiritual healing, from twin flame spiritual healing, from the twin flame inner work. That's where progress comes from. The progress done by twin flame inner work has results that you feel in your psychology, your mental health, your emotional healing. But don't turn it around. Don't start to do psychologically manipulate yourself and work very hard on your mental health with like self-help books and I don't know, go to emotional healing modalities and think that your twin flame will come forward and you will be in harmonious twin flame union, the consciousness state real soon. No, you won't. Because even though they can do something and that can be from that point of view valuable, I completely understand that. It is another level of work that we do to get into twin flame union. It is a completely different level. You're going to work on the level of twin flame inner work level. That is the spirit level. And that's a more fundamental healing than any of the other things just mentioned. So that the result actually has a positive influence on all of it after you completed that twin flame inner work in spirit. So that even, you know, your favorite psychology tricks and mental health healing books, they might actually, after you've done the correct twin flame inner work, become superfluous. You see? Or maybe they become, you know, like an insight after the fact, or like a second level of extra that you could look into a little bit and combine with twin flame inner work that you prioritize. And what more you better stop believing? 4, that your false twin flame is your twin flame. Well, that's too difficult, Petra. Why did you put it there? Anyway, that's like too difficult because you don't know. When you don't know, you don't know. And when you do know, you can let the false twin flame go. But even then, that's maybe funny, but Maybe it's not about this case, that people go to Harmonious Twin Flame Union, they get to know their true twin flame, and then they know who their false twin flame was, and then they don't want to let them go. Oh boy. So maybe this is what you should not take the false twin flame for your twin flame, but maybe this is a better translation of number 4, that you should have the attitude on a twin flame journey that you want your true twin flame and that you don't want a false twin flame. So you're not going to hinge it on that it needs to be Pete, when in actual fact your true twin flame is Charles. So you choose the true twin flame every day, every moment, every inner work. And that's the only thing that works. 5. You need to stop believing that manipulation works. Many ideas that circle around the internet about what to do when you want to be with your twin flame in union come down to manipulation. Manipulating them to get from them what you want. Manipulating yourself so that you become someone that can have success or something. Manipulating, trying to at least manipulate God, because you want God to send you your true twin flame soon enough. And you try to manipulate God. You say, God, I will do this tomorrow. I will give 50 euro to the homeless people in my town, and I will buy food of that for everyone. And you need to give me my twin flame this weekend to go out together. Please, God. So that's manipulation. Don't do that. You can't manipulate God into what you want of it. Manipulation doesn't work. You can only get the true twin flame union that is sustainable in a harmonious twin flame union, the consciousness state, when you are unconditional about your actions and, importantly, your giving. 6. Stop believing that many of the people speaking on twin flames online know what they are talking about. Stop believing that many people speaking about twin flames know what they're talking about, because many don't. Well, that was it. Even though they present as maybe kind people, or maybe they present themselves with someone sitting next to them and portraying that as their true twin flame, which might not be the case at all. So don't necessarily believe that. Do they have harmonious twin flame union, the consciousness state? That's something that you need to know. And if they don't know if they are, or they sound arrogant when they say they are, or when they don't know what that is, or ask them when that happened for them. What was that exact moment that happened for you? Because I still know very much. It was in the beginning of the evening of Sunday evening of March 23rd, I think, of 2020. And I know where I know where I was sitting. I know exactly what I was doing. I was in nature. I was sitting at this bench, at this wooden hut, for a moment in my walk, and I knew that it had happened, but I just marinated in it a little bit, and I said to myself, let's sleep on this, and tomorrow morning, when I still feel like this, I think we could safely conclude that I'm in harmonious union now. And that happened, and that was so, and then I knew, and then I needed, like 5 days to sort of process the first intense emotions of that, like happy emotions, but like wow, that kind of emotion, like wow. And then after a couple days, the first wow was processed, and I could sort of pronounce it to myself, at least, without crying. And and from there on forward, much unfolded. But I know still exactly what that was and when that was. So ask them, when was your harmonious twin flame union moment? If they say something that sounds like this, then maybe. But if they have no idea, well, that's because they aren't. So take everything they say with a grain of salt, and especially also the person they present you with. Take that with a grain of salt that it is their twin flame. All right, number 7. Things you need to stop believing for union. That union without the consciousness state of harmonious twin flame union makes sense. Yeah, because it doesn't. It doesn't make sense because you don't know if it's your true twin flame. You're not in the peace and harmony you want to have with it. You could still have this case that they will walk off, what everyone hates so much. You haven't activated sort of that deeper love of your union, and you certainly haven't opened the door towards the natural, or maybe you could say supernatural abundance that is here for your union in the truth of the divine. So it doesn't make sense. It's not what you want. You don't want to be with some body that sleeps in your bed, but it's not sustainable. It's not peaceful at the core. You haven't committed on that deep level where twin flames connect. That's what that comes down to. You don't want that. It doesn't make sense. But if you have your true twin flame with you, and something works out and you're happy with that, then keep on going forward just a little bit. Do the true twin flame inner work. And maybe with a true twin flame teacher guiding you, you can fall into that state with your true twin flame sleeping already in your bed soon enough. And then it also falls into place with that deeper state. That's what you truly want. I promise. What you better stop believing for union is also 8. That you can do it alone. That you have to do it alone. You don't. You can do it with a community, with me, with people in the school. You don't need to keep on wrestling yourself through trials of trying to do the twin flame inner work on your own. You can simply step into the school and be guided and served and helped, and yeah, it'll work out for you, and it'll be less alone. And the fact that we're with more people also actually augments greatly the healing power of whatever we're doing inside the school. And the year group course, Twin Flame Abundance Now, Coaches Edition, so you will also be able to do your mission real soon, starts up again real soon on November the 1st. And yeah, you'd be welcome, It's really a testament of you don't need to do it alone. So don't. And just take my hand. Let's do it together. Looking forward to it. 9. Stop believing that waiting even 1 second longer makes sense. It doesn't. You need to start doing the twin flame inner work, not waiting. Do that inside my school, and you also don't need to do the twin flame inner work alone. And it all comes together right there. I have a bonus for you as well, so here it comes. What I see people do is spend as little money as possible on their journey, but that does not work. Because you need to be generous and give everything into your surrender to Divine Mother, to have your full union come to bloom and bear fruit soon enough. Well, let's leave it there with that little last bonus tip for you. Be generous and you will get everything out of it in return. And I hope this helped.